Number 1. Roman Reigns and Jimmy Uso. Not clicking, Roman Reigns swayed when Vision's world returned, the main event. The original tribal chief jumped in to save the Usos from Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed. But later, after the dust settled, Reigns and Jey Uso had an OTC moment when it got intense with yet another master. Meanwhile, Big Jim stood aside and Reigns didn't even look his way. He hugged Jey, but Jimmy felt empty. This quiet gesture indicates that Roman and Jimmy are not seeing eye to eye, and the OG bloodline is already showing cracks. Number 2. Roman Reigns vs. Braun Breaker, Crown Jewel. Roman Reigns had already defeated Bronson Reed at Paris Clash. After his huge Raw return and jump over Braun Breaker, it seems that the OTC will face the new big dog in a one-on-one fight at WWE Crown Jewel. Fans have seen Roman vs. Dreambreaker over the years, and the current V's OG bloodline story feels like a perfect setup for this showdown. Number 3. Brock Lesnar and Seth Rollins join in. Seth Rollins began a verbal exchange with Cody Rhodes. A Red Brand promo shook things up. Amid back-and-forth action, the name of the American Nightmare Brock Lesnar was dropped, hinting at how Paul Heyman brought the Beast back at WrestlePalooza. Cody asked if the Dreamer agreed. The World Heavyweight Champion fired back, saying every trajectory crosses him. This gradually confirms Rollins' reunion with Heyman in Indianapolis. It's a clear indication that fans will soon see Rollins and Lesnar teaming up in WWE. Number 4. Dominic Mysterio's IC title reign remains strong. Dominic Mysterio captured another impressive title, defeating Rusev on Raw in defense. Dom defeated the Bulgarian with a secret low blow for a brutal victory. The Judgment Day Star's triumph over the former US champion seems a small sign that his Intercontinental Championship run isn't ending anytime soon. Dom has already defeated AJ Styles multiple times, and this win over Rusev points to a long-term title reign on the Red Brand. Number 5. Sky could stab Ripley in the back at Crown Jewel. It's locked in. Rhea Ripley and Sky will team up against the Kabuki Warriors in a Crown Jewel tag match. But on Raw, Sky seemed upset about the Kabuki Warriors even after they attacked her. Asuka and Kairi Sane capitalized on her hesitation, standing tall over Ripley and Sky. In a backstage moment, Rhea told Sky about the Crown Jewel tag match, and finally the former women's world champion agreed. But that confusion could spread trouble for Parth. If the Queen spins against Sky tomorrow, maybe Sky will take a double cross to the Eradicator. WWE quietly changing strategy for NXT call-ups. WWE is now reorganizing NXT. They've been quietly adjusting the call-up process over the past year. They ultimately keep details hidden, even from some insiders, and talent doesn't always jump to the main roster immediately. NXT now manages call-ups differently. TV stars are being pulled without warning, sent directly, and the old setup is replaced by a smooth, silent system. The ideal process is for talent to be called up, then scheduled on the main roster at ease. These days, they often finish on NXT TV first. This new method allows WWE to conclude NXT storylines without blocking talent entries to Raw or SmackDown lineups. It makes things easier for wrestlers and fills gaps in Tuesday night shows. Behind the scenes, the mentality drives change. Someone from WWE Performance Center said the company sees value in keeping professionals near NXT for training newcomers. According to sources, some arrivals weren't immediately on the main roster plan, and a full NXT run was the company's intent. Pressure. It seems designed with construction in mind. A long path, considering NXT as more than just a quick stop and calling some veterinarians to highlight the young team. WWE's updated call-up game looks sharper, reflecting the kind of visionary thinking that could change how everyone views NXT's place in the entire setup. What are you making? WWE's new call-up plan. Why did AEW write Adam Copeland off television? Fans. When Adam started speculating about strange things, Copeland disappeared from AEW TV, as if perhaps returning to WWE for a big final thing, maybe a fight with John Cena. But as we shared last week, those notions were misguided. Copeland isn't returning to wrestling, he is diving deeper into films. Variety has just confirmed WWE Hall of Famer, The Beekeeper 2, Jason Statham's next episode, a surprise hit bringing in $162 million worldwide. Copeland joins a strong cast with Pam Clementine, Jeremy Irons, and Yara Shahidi. Pam Clementine Mission, Impossible, Guardians of the Galaxy, and professional wrestler-turned-actor Adam Copeland, Percy Jackson, and Olympians are the latest additions to Jason Statham's cast. The action thriller features Copeland, Statham. Details are currently secret, but the sequel works under director Timo Chaginator's guidance, returning to Kurt Wimmer's screenplay. Jason Statham is producing through his Punch Palace Productions, and Amazon MGM Studios handles global release. This is Copeland's only screen project at the moment. As we told you last week, he's shooting Percy Jackson Season 3 and Olympians for Disney+, stepping back into the war god Ares role. The role has already earned him a Children's and Family Emmy, not bad for a wrestler-turned-actor. So when the audience misses him in the ring, he's clearly ready to conquer Hollywood for now. Adam Copeland's star is growing outside wrestling, and it seems he's just heating up. What will he do? Will he step back into AEW or WWE? That's up in the air, but for now, he's on the silver screen. Would you rather see Adam Copeland again in wrestling, or do you think he's found his real home in Hollywood? Why didn't WWE give Rusev the Intercontinental Championship? Rusev gave his all but failed against Dominic Mysterio for the IC title in WWE. The Bulgarian Brute was roaming hand-in-hand in a title match against Dirty Dom, but Dom pulled out and held onto his belt. Here, why WWE didn't give Rusev the IC title on Monday Night Raw. One major reason, Rusev didn't steal gold, that was his flaw. On the Red brand, since returning to the Stamford-based company, the former US champion hasn't achieved any major wins. He got tangled in Sheamus' feud, but that's the point. A lack of a winning streak probably kept him from claiming the championship. Dominic Mysterio now holds not just the Intercontinental title, but also role as the new AAA Mega Champion, giving him dual belts. Dirty Dom has tossed big names like AJ Styles into multiple matches since capturing the IC belt. It's not surprising he hasn't lost in the Raw match either. Had the match ended differently, Rusev might have had a better shot at the title, but Dom's momentum made defeating John Cena nearly impossible. Dom has won almost everything in WWE. But the 17-time world champion still hasn't captured the Intercontinental title to complete his Grand Slam champion status. Rumors say a clash between Cena and Dominic could happen in front of franchise players on Cena's farewell tour. That could explain why WWE kept the belt on Judgment Day Star, setting up a big IC conflict with Cena soon. How did El Grand Americano become friends in WWE? Ever wondered how El Grand Americano did Wade Barrett drop someone on Raw? It was used prominently in Monday's broadcast. Leading Rio, Pete Dunne and Bravo, Tyler Bate, El Grand Americano Ludwig Kaiser now lead the Los Grupos Americano. Rio and Bravo faced AJ Styles and Dragon Lee in a tag match on this week's WWE. But just an hour earlier, Wade Barrett showcased his strange spin on how Los Americano came to be. El Grand Americano is reproducing, but not in the traditional sense. It's like bacteria dividing through a process. If you remember biology class, Joe Tess, exponential growth, 1 becomes 2, 2 becomes 4, then 8, 16, and soon you know they will rule the world. WWE Raw's commentary has also taken part in this, claiming that the Americano family discovered Lucha Libre copyright. If true, that's a bold claim. What are El Grand Americano's new friends or the kids, or maybe both, aim to shine for their boss this week? But Rio and Bravo hit the wall when AJ Styles and Dragon Lee stole the tag win. Don't assume it's their last run, though. On October 25, Lee will line up to challenge Dominic Mysterio for the AAA Mega Championship at AAA Heroes Mortal. We all know Mysterio's connection with El Grand Americano, opening the door for Los Americano to win medals and titles. Surely this trio could give AJ Styles a lot of trouble. So the average path to Australia. Styles faces John Cena at WWE Crown Jewel 2025, and no one bets against Los Americano. Breaking that primetime collision, still you can't guess what these trailblazers in Lucha Libre might cook up next. TKO's WWE ticket prices are out of control. Discussion about WWE ticket prices under TKO is happening online. Fans are excited, and an old wrestling figure says it's spiraling out of hand. During the latest Wrestling Time Machine, host Matt Davis discussed how ticket prices are affecting the sports entertainment giant, WWE. WrestleMania seat numbers have now reached thousands of dollars, pushing most fans out. Veteran journalist Bill called TKO an era of complete chaos in terms of pricing, adding that the ESPN deal is forcing fans to pay $30 per month for premium live events, stacking the pain. It's out of control in my opinion. Even on TV, fans are being charged for WWE's PLEs through ESPN streaming. People can't afford that much money. Bill continues to talk about ticket prices, a headache, because host M. Davis took TKO to show how money is being plundered across the setup. Once agreed, it becomes a fine mess for everyday wrestling fans when the ESPN Switch and Sky High seats come into play. The world is changing, and for the wrestling world, streaming universe, and wrestling fans, it's another subtle mashup. The company seems ready to raise prices, at least if TKO executive Mark Shapiro chooses that path. He clearly said Vince McMahon also went crazy, far more than keeping tickets cheap. Families are losing more cash. Let's see how this shakes out over time. Why did Vince McMahon never reduce WWE fan prices the way TKO does now? Teddy Long directly addressed this when asked why Vince McMahon's ticket pricing method was so different from TKO's. The former SmackDown general manager shared some sharp words and insight on the latest sports. Wrestling Time Machine host M. Davis dug with Teddy Long and Bill E. into WWE's big event ticket hikes. Davis called TKO quick cash to watch. They noticed how Vince McMahon deliberately set ticket prices for families. Teddy Long explained that McMahon's deep wrestling knowledge stopped him from chasing ticket sales like TKO profits. Long also mentioned that when TKO executives give the green light in wrestling, Vince McMahon is a businessman who knows exactly what to do. Many of these people coming from business institutions have no clue and do whatever they want, and not what people want. Stories also revolve around Vince McMahon's massive 85th inning fancy bucket birthday party at a hotel where phones were banned. Big names like Drew McIntyre, Sheamus, Awar, The Truth, Sergeant Slaughter, Bruce Pritchard, and Jerry Lawler appeared. Teddy Long was there too. In a previous Wrestling Time Machine episode, he shared at length that he and John Cena were the only talent at Vince's table. The first night was very good, just the beginning and more. I had a very good experience talking with Vince McMahon. Some things I won't repeat because it was private between us, but the first thing he told me was, "You look great." And I thanked him for everything he did for me. On Saturday night at the birthday party, I sat at the table and a lady said, "You're Teddy Long, you're at Vince's table." So the only talent at that table were John Cena and me. Believe me, that's how it was. I saw our Truth sitting down, but he wasn't at the table. Although McMahon is a sensitive subject among wrestlers, Teddy Long remained fiercely loyal, always thanking his boss. He repeatedly said that even if controversies are ignored, McMahon shaped his career. That's where things stayed level by level. Social media loves it, clearly acceptable, but for those whose lives were built by McMahon, it's a complicated bond. Bill E. believes WWE relying on NXT shows is a cheap way for fans to get their wrestling fix when main roster tickets are out of reach. You know what they'll do? In my opinion, they'll take NXT and show all the spots they had, indicating they no longer do it. NXT is going low cost and becoming a spot show. One thing is clear, TKO executives see ticket prices like a gold mine. The climb will likely continue. TKO Chief Operating Officer Ben Shapiro spoke at a Goldman Sachs Communicopia Plus Tech conference, breaking down the mentality. "We know there's more room to go. Why do we know this? UFC records wherever they go. We know there's a lot of space because Vince McMahon essentially set ticket prices for families and wasn't fully focused on maximizing the opportunity. We're seeing what we can do with UFC and we're replicating it in tickets in terms of yield and enhanced sales on WWE's side. It's really working," he said. When a fan publicly questioned WWE President Nick Khan about ticket prices, Khan responded, "I understand. There's some room for movement, but TKO's current mindset is all about growth. Anyway, it will be interesting to see how WWE fares long-term. Ticket sales are steadily rising, even as fans grumble about a lack of creativity from 2023 to 2024. Triple H reportedly harbors secret resentment toward McIntyre. WWE has witnessed many rising and returning stars under Triple H's creative watch at the top. Internal sources and Jonathan Coachman have discussed Drew McIntyre's jealousy toward the Stamford company. The Scottish Warrior is in top form and has run into some of the fiercest competition against CM Punk in 2024. Yet McIntyre repeatedly fails in big matches, reducing his chances at titles in the Stamford promotion. Behind the Turnbuckle studio, both internal sources and Coachman said jealousy is evident. The two-time WWE and one-time World Heavyweight Champion is clearly listed as a wrestler whose ambitions are being blocked by the bosses. What will happen? Coachman points out that a wrestler's jealousy doesn't always pay off. If you believe this, you may not learn from us. Inside sources say Coachman also mentioned that McIntyre is professional in every sense, but the bosses won't let him hold the top spot. "I love the guy, I absolutely love him," Coachman said. "He is nothing but pure professional excellence." Soon, Drew McIntyre returned to Stamford with a major win on Friday Night SmackDown. After a beatdown from Randy Orton, he got a chance against Cody Rhodes. For the undisputed WWE, the road to the wrestling championship in Indiana Palua failed, and he turned his attention toward Jacob Fatu. After Wrestle Palua on SmackDown, when McIntyre acknowledged Samoan defeat, Warwolf stepped up, creating tension and a scrap. Fatu stepped forward with a three-time world champion hit from a medical boot. Recently, Drew McIntyre took part in a project with Henry Cavill, and it will be exciting if Fatu's attack clears the way for the Scottish Warrior to stay off WWE TV for a while. Why did Roman Reigns ignore Jimmy Uso? On Monday night, Roman Reigns had an impressive performance. His comeback was sharp, but fans noticed something. OTC left Jimmy Uso empty-handed. On the Red Brand's main event, the Usos fought Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed in a tag team clash. Breaking focus, the Samoan brothers pulled Usos out of the fire. Right after Roman Reigns teased yet masters, but Big Jim faded into the shadows. Nothing left for Jimmy. This cold shoulder from Reigns may have been intentional. Here are 5 ideas why Reigns avoided the Samoan in Raw. In recent weeks, Jey Uso has been performing more, taking on an authoritative mode more powerful than Jimmy. That's why Big Jim even compared him to Reigns, noting Jey's lack of restraint and barking orders. Jey seems like he's being groomed as a potential future tribal chief from the Samoan family, which could explain why Reigns centered his time on Jey while leaving Jimmy dangling. In a previous Raw, Jey Uso received a mysterious phone call behind the scenes. When Jimmy pressured him, Jey withheld information. Many believe Reigns was in line, so Jey might have contacted OTC to check in against the Vision and provide backup. Perhaps that's why Reigns stayed near Yet Masters alone. Another angle of Roman Reigns' decision after Jimmy Uso's return concerns WWE's plan for Reigns and Jey to team against Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed. OTC is not ready for Seth Rollins anytime soon, at least not at Crown Jewel, where Rollins will face Cody Rhodes. With that in mind, WWE may temporarily sideline Jimmy and book a tag team of Roman and Jey versus the Division. Triple H might be excluding Jimmy to showcase this novelty on TV, giving Jey a sharp wrist rub against Jimmy Uso. A mistake, especially after Jey sided with LA Knight, though Megastar had saved them on Raw weeks earlier. On the other hand, Roman clearly understands Yet Masters' tough continuity. The former undisputed champion may have avoided Jimmy to allow Jey to use his full power. Even in the next Raw, Roman and Jey might hash it out without this interference. OTC is live with Jimmy Uso taking a severe hit regarding Reigns. He compared Jey's change after the table incident against him. In this scenario, Jimmy is still being portrayed as seeing Reigns as the bad guy. These developments could explain why Roman kept him cool on Raw. It will be exciting to see how these pieces fall in upcoming shows. Paul Heyman and Brock Lesnar have betrayed Seth Rollins. Seth started the Vision with Paul Heyman and ruled WWE Raw strongly, but the team may already fall apart. For the past few weeks, Seth Rollins has relied on Cody Rhodes. Meanwhile, Paul Heyman has allied with Brock Lesnar, sidelining Seth. Heyman was also close to Bronson Reed and Braun Breaker, guiding their way and lending a hand. Seth Rollins has not yet returned the 2 stars he brought in, while Heyman seems to have taken the lead spot directly. Cody Rhodes also addressed how Heyman made the decision. Seth Rollins emphasized every move, firing forcefully as the team went through him, Heyman and Lesnar. Seth was pushed back on the street, told to manage perspective, and that was the real deal. The same goes for Braun and Bronson. You bring them under your wing, teach them, yes, control them. They will appear on SmackDown Friday. It's not their show, but there's reason to believe Heyman sent them. Once again, it's about control. When it comes to your own team, who's in charge? Seth even grilled Heyman about it. Everything goes through you. So I assume you're the one who allowed Mr. Heyman to announce Brock Lesnar. Even after that night, Seth Rollins was stuck on the street, ignoring Bronson Reed and Braun Breaker, who had a match lined up. Ultimately, it was Heyman who dictated the game plan. Seth Rollins vows to assert full authority over everything in WWE these days, but problems could grow if Heyman spots Seth's blind spot with Braun Breaker, Bronson, and Brock Lesnar. At this moment, no one knows the full drama Seth is facing, or what Paul Heyman has cooked up.